that picks up. All right. Let's do this. All right, welcome everyone. We're gonna start soon. Hang tight. Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome to another super live episode of PinTech Live. We are joined again by the legendary Brian Eddy. He's the lead designer of Dungeons and Dragons: The Tyrant's Pinball. And new to the show is Thomas Malcolm. He's the lead mechanical engineer on Dungeons and Dragons. Thanks so much for joining us, y'all.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Amato. Great to be back and to share a little bit more of D&D, and hopefully you're getting your D&Ds out there now too.
Yeah, absolutely. We just had the premium shipped to Lynn's Arcade, so you see Matthew up in the top sitting in front of the newly unboxed premium from last night, and we're excited to do all the launch parties and bust out the big gelatinous cube again, which some of you all saw at Texas Pinball Festival, where you have to stick your hand in to grab a prize.
It's pretty gross.
We're having a lot of fun with this theme, let's just say. But I wanted to start off quickly, since Thomas, you are new to the show, sort of new to pinball. This is your first role as lead designer with Stern Pinball, which is super exciting. And really, we'd just love for you to introduce yourself. where you came from, how you got into pinball, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I guess originally from Glasgow, Scotland. So yeah, I guess I started my career over there, and then work kind of brought me over here originally. So um, a big company brought me over here, and then I moved over to Stern. So yeah, been here almost a year since May. So this was a pretty cool experience to be like when I first arrived. I didn't really know what I'd be working on, and then it was like day two. It was like you're gonna have to design a dragon. It was a very cool opportunity. So
If it wasn't for Thomas, there would not be a dragon on the playfield. So, along with a million other little details he
We love
solves,
Raph.
he's coming to pinball and has done an amazing job jumping in and understanding the world and how it works. And so, a lot of the little details and touches on the playfield, and whether it's smooth and plays well, that's Thomas too.
Nice.
He's all on top of it.
Very cool. How
yeah,
did you find yourself joining into the pinball world?
yeah, I guess it's weird because I guess I come from more of a engineering background. Like it's more of an engineering challenge than pinball. Because pinball's not that big in Glasgow, I guess, or Scotland. But yeah, I just really applied for the job. I saw it on a job board, and then I was like, this is going to be awesome. Like kind of like Harrison interviewed me and stuff, so he was showing me like all the cool stuff on Godzilla, and I was like, yeah, this will be an awesome job. So yeah, it's been cool.
It's exceeded your expectations, right, Thomas?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Did you come from a background like Harrison and Elliot where they're like really into robots and all that kind of like STEM education stuff?
I actually came from more optics, so cameras and lasers, I guess. So much more like mechanisms for like moving lenses and that sort of thing.
He kept wanting the dragon to have laser eyes.
Yeah, what happened?
It up.
I
didn't quite make the cut. Yeah.
I came over originally in America for augmented reality stuff, so it was a different challenge.
And how are you loving being inundated in the pinball industry and community?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's cool getting to see like people play your products, like go to like Logan Arcade or whatever. You get to see them like play your game and that sort of thing. So it's kind of like it's a cool experience.
Yeah. Have you noticed that definitely in our industry and community, we are very, very passionate about pinball. Like these are not just toys and simple entertainment devices, but we all go all in on the game, but we are just as excited about who designed it and who made it and put it together and like the full package. I guess
my first expo, I was a bit like just talking to people in the crowd playing different games and stuff. They were like, "You work for Stern," and they start asking you questions. You're like, "Oh wow, like you guys are keen." So it's been really cool, like just to see what people think of the games and stuff. So
pinball, it's a way of life. It's not just
it definitely is. It's more than a game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. And besides Dungeons and Dragons, what pinball machines have you played or you have any experience with? Do you have a favorite pinball machine yet that you didn't work on? Like you can't say Dungeons and Dragons your favorite.
I already have 3 in the house. So I have a Godzilla, a Jurassic Park, and the D&D.
He had 0 when he started.
He went all in.
It's been like a steep ramp-up process. I'm really enjoying like the Jaws 8-bit mode. So that's kind of like one of my go-to just now. Yeah.
Awesome. And maybe you'll bring some augmented reality into pinball with your background. And laser eyes. I think laser eyes needs to be on the next game, Brian.
Accessory coming soon.
Don't tempt Brian. Don't tempt.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. So just to let everyone know that's viewing and to y'all too, with PinTech Live, we're a super tech-heavy stream. Most of us that participate in these streams, we're technicians, we're operators, we're the tinkerers and hobbyists that love getting deep into the mechs that like really make the game work. So we have y'all here today to kind of show off all the cool and unique mechs that really make Dungeons and Dragons special. And Thomas and Brian have Gratefully, they have created stuff for us to view. So we'd love to take a dive in all of those mechs and see. We have about an hour or a little less to kind of run through all these exciting things. And then once we let y'all go, we're going to open up the playfield and look in a little bit more deeper too. But Thomas, if you want to go ahead and screen share,
Yeah.
then we'll kind of look at all the cool stuff that you got going on.
Very excited to see these mechs right now.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
so
just
excited.
so many cool things. Like originally when we got the pro, like the dragon head lifting up and down was exciting, and then now with the premium, the dragon head, Raph is just moving all over the playfield, or articulating his whole body, neck motion. And then
Yeah.
like the magic shield is super rad. The dungeon little lock is super cool. We're super stoked. So show us what you got.
Yeah, Brian, do you want to pick what one you want to start with?
Yeah, why don't we just jump in? We'll start at the bottom. Let's just start with something straightforward, the shield down there.
Yeah. So this is where the shield is in the playfield, I guess. And this is like from the underside. Um, and I can also open it up. So the PC might be a little bit slow to react, but we'll get it. So
It's a pretty
yeah.
straightforward mech.
Yep, it's just a single coil. We have a weldment that attaches to the shaft of the coil, and then we use like a Delrin piece of plastic that helps guide the shield up, so it's like a more repeatable position through the wood. Yeah, so
Yeah, so pretty
there we
similar to the old rubber post that would pop up, except this one has to be a certain angle, which actually worked out pretty cool in the game because it'll make shots for you sometimes if it's up and you leave the ball against it. And it looks like a shield, so.
yeah.
I noticed that. Yeah, when the shield pops up, you let the ball just sit there for a second, and then when you hit the flipper, it's just like perfect into that left or right ramps or outlanes or orbits. Uh,
Yeah, this one's great for like kind of cheating gelatinous cube multi-ball. Like you want to build that one early to get the three in a row. It's just like a great way to start that mode. So
Oh, so you're using the shield to hit that left
the
side.
that really tight
Yeah,
left
that
orbit.
really tight shot. That's really hard to hit. You just use the
Yeah.
shield. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, some games it hits the dragon, some games it makes the shot, or depending on where on the flipper it is at the time.
yeah, I'm sure like leveling the game has a lot to do
Yeah.
with it too. But was that how many kind of reiterations did you go through to kind of get that shield shot, or was it kind of just a serendipitous thing that they were lining up to hit those shots? Like how
No, there
intentional was
was,
it?
yeah, we did two different passes on it. Originally it was a little bit narrower, but we realized if we changed it just a little bit, we could probably make some of the shots more often. So that's what we did. And it's about as wide as it can get because if you flip the flippers and you pop up the shield, there's hardly any gap between them as it is right now.
Oh
So
yeah.
we spread it as far as we could to try to make some of those shots.
That's awesome. Yeah, but there's still if you have your flipper up, your ball can just miss the shield and
Yep.
go straight to
Yeah.
the drain. So
Yeah.
it still can be
It's,
dangerous.
it's still way better than the rubber stops that used to round ones that came up. I swear I lost the ball more often than I would save it with those.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sometimes it like when you hit it, the ball would pop right onto that circle, and then you hit it, and then it flies the ball out into the hole,
Yep,
and you're like, no.
yep.
I did get a good timing shot using the shield where it did hit the ball, like it sent the ball up and into the glass, and I was like, "Whoa!" It
That's
just launched it. It's like poor timing altogether.
yeah, that's pretty tight timing too with the shield. But
Yeah, it's
like I have a hard enough time when it's even at the top of the playfield coming back at me to hit it in time to
totally.
pop up.
That's
But
my biggest issue right now is remembering to hit the shield and
hit
being
it.
like, I hit the
Yeah.
shield, but my ball's already way past the shield. And it's so sad.
Yeah.
And there's enough time if you can react that fast, but it's like half the time I'm like you too. I forget to do it right away and I miss it. But you get better. The more you play, you get used to just hitting it.
Yeah,
So it's like a ball save in a lot of ways.
yeah.
Okay. let's jump on to what else we jump on
Yeah.
to.
What's
Let's go to the cube next. We'll
You want
save
to
it.
go
Oh,
to the
cool,
cube?
cool.
Yeah.
The
So
gelatinous
this is
cube.
we got the cube here.
Yeah.
Got some flashers inside, laminated plastics, and then you can kind of see the sculpt here. It's obviously covered in like a mesh pattern in SolidWorks. And then obviously the actual make part of it is the magnet inside, which activates from both sides of the playfield. So it's like a really cool feature.
Oh, it's a
Um,
magnet that's holding it in place.
Yeah. And so
yeah,
there's not actually two. There's just
look at
one,
this.
too, and it grabs from both sides.
Yep,
Whoa.
I'll open it up separately. Like everything in the playfields are normally sub-assemblies, and then we can like bolt on the line. They're easier to sort of like build together. So this would be sort of like built on a bench, and then uh, built on a bench, and
Yeah,
then
and that
Oh, and then install it. Got it.
yeah,
very cool. That makes it a lot easier for us operators of when we do need to do maintenance after several thousand plays to be able to just remove it, do the work, pop it back in. So that's super cool.
yeah.
You can see everything's there, like the plastics, the decal, even on the bottom. Everything is represented.
You can
That's
place
crazy.
it.
Yeah. But otherwise,
Yeah,
it's a pretty straightforward mech.
yeah,
That's that side view.
yeah.
Front.
Just to see that's a
Yeah.
core there. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, whoa.
it's super cool being able to like Gelatinous Cube multi-ball, like seeing the ball being grabbed on both sides.
And is this a switch over there? Are they optos or what are these switchboards
So
off to the
these
side?
are actually just LED flashers. So when you see that the
Oh,
cube glow,
yeah.
that's what gives it the glow. The switches for the mech are actually on the plastic ramp. I can show you that.
Yeah, the opto's on the ramp. And
Oh, like
originally
right
we did
before.
actually, yeah, we had it
Yeah,
inside the cube at one point when we were doing prototypes. We had one before and after the magnet. But we kind of realized from an assembly standpoint, having all those wires come out and down through a hole on just the cube was getting a little fat and ball of
a little bit
wires.
busy. Yeah, we have a set of optos like under here
Right.
that read for the underneath the cube, and then we have the optos on the ramp
And
here.
that one on that playfield was really tight to fit that in. So
Yeah, it's like a little bracket here,
yeah,
so they just pull from underneath.
and it just
Whoa.
barely fits in
Oh,
that
gotcha.
little nook by the launcher there.
Very cool.
And that's
Yeah, I
pretty much
like
in
how
this.
packed everything.
Sculpt is pretty interesting too, just the process that we have to go through to make that. And
Yeah, this one definitely had a few iterations to get like the color right and stuff. There's a lot of back and forth with the suppliers and stuff, and then picking what we wanted to show in the cube with the sculptors, which was like really cool.
you know,
Yeah, I like
Whoa.
how it's sort of translucent almost. Yeah, we're looking at over there. It's just like this beautiful
Glowing.
blue, yeah,
Yeah.
blue cube. It's amazing. Awesome.
okay, that's the cube. Why don't we jump on to the dungeon?
But
Ooh, the dungeon.
yeah, this is actually one of the. This probably had the most iterations of variants. In the
Yep.
end, it was
And how similar is this mech to, say, like um, the Led Zeppelin magic spinner that comes up? I mean, obviously excluding the spinner, but is it kind of similar in the way it was built, or did you guys completely re-engineer this in your own way?
so we used their like originally we had like a metal ramp flat material almost in the top of the dungeon, and it was giving us a lot of problems with the air balls and the spinner. Like that kind of combination of like a little bit of jump and the spinner was hard. So we copied what Led Zeppelin did to like level this mechanism with
Oh,
the
cool.
metal and the plastic cover, and that lets us get it like perfectly smooth. But I guess the big difference for the Led Zeppelin one is it's driven off a motor, so the motor crank arm goes round. I've actually got one here. Whereas we're a
Oh, yeah.
single coil, which is it's kind of unique in a way because we can get a ball in there and a ball out with one coil. So
Oh, cool.
which is like normally you'd have to like lift the mechanism up and then use a coil to spit the ball out. Where this is just like a one coil. So
Yeah. It's just the force of it coming up, it kicks the ball out. One other small thing to note too, if anybody's having like airball shots where it's not getting in the vuck well, or it's maybe flying off the right ramp, leveling your dungeon is kind of key to that too, because if there's any lip that the ball can feel, it can pop up over that. So I always adjust them just a hair under the playfield level, do the metal outside first, then do the inside,
yeah,
and you get that nice and smooth, and it doesn't have any effect on the shots really.
yeah, and I can grab it like
Very cool.
making this transparent. You can see there's like rubber
Yeah.
grommets in the top,
Oh,
and
right.
then
Uh,
the underside has like a adjustable bumper.
So the
You,
inside
you-
plastic is underneath, and the metal ring is just the screws right on top there. You tighten them or loosen them.
yeah,
Gotcha.
So
Super
all those
cool.
little details are important to us too, just from a service and a manufacturing ability, so that they can go together well on the line. Plus, if anybody needs to service them, it's really accessible, right? It's really quick to adjust either one of those.
Yeah, that's super awesome.
screwdriver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a screwdriver. Very cool.
yeah,
And there's two optos on it. One for when it's up and it can read a ball going in, and then one when it's down so that we know there's a ball in it.
Hmm.
And so when it captures the ball, does the ball go anywhere to be like, is there like a subway it goes under, or it just comes back up and releases the ball? Like when the
Yep.
ball goes into the dungeon, then what happens?
Well,
Yeah.
then you go down in the dungeon, yeah, it does just go straight there, right as you're seeing it. He does the cutaway. It's just held underneath the playfield in that bracket underneath there.
yeah.
Very cool. And that starts a mode? Or like
Yeah.
explain how the feature works in the gameplay, because I've been playing on the Pro, which doesn't
Oh,
have this
right.
mech. So just as far as like when I start playing the premium, how do I get
Sure.
that thing to lift up, and what does it do for me?
Yeah, so it has a similar functionality, but you get the physicality with the premium. So if you hit the two half stand-ups, one on the left and the one on the right there, it'll light dungeon crawl on the center hook. And dungeon crawl is the mode specifically tied with the device, but we do use it in the story mode at different times too.
Oh,
That'll
cool.
pop up, and we have Tiny's Dice game, which uses it, which is a whole nother thing that's really fun. But the main core of it is the dungeon crawl, and if you light it and go in the VUC, then it pops up, and you have to get the ball in there within a certain amount of time, and then you go down into the dungeon, into the classic dungeon crawl that everybody knows from various games and video games and stuff in the
Yeah.
past. Except in this one, the shots move you forward through the dungeon, and then you have to make the choices of going right or left or straight.
Oh, that's
And
right.
and they can lead to all sorts of different things. They can lead to a bunch of monsters that attack you. They can lead to a treasure room. They could lead to the stairs that take you out, because this dungeon has 5 different levels in every game that you can traverse
Oh
through.
my gosh.
Each one is bigger and bigger in size. And the cool thing about those dungeons is they're all algorithmically made, and every week they will change the layout of the dungeon.
Oh my
If you're on
goodness.
Insider Connected, it'll change for everybody around the world. They'll all be playing the same dungeons that week, but they'll change every single week to a different layout. So if you remember that it's right, right, left, and there's an extra ball in that room in the dungeon, it'll be that way for the whole week. So it's kind of a fun thing just to talk with
Ah.
friends about, oh, hey, if I go straight, straight, straight left, I'll exit, and then how to get through all 5 levels. And at the bottom, there's going to be a fight with the red dragon at some point too.
Oh
So
my god.
if you can make it all the way down into the five
Yeah.
levels of depth,
Oh, that's so great.
he did an amazing job on the feeling of that.
So we need to start a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon battle group.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
whoever gets
Like,
there first and figures out the pathway of
yeah.
right, right,
Yep.
left, straight, straight, right, left, then we could all help each
Where's
other.
where's the extra ball? It's on level 3, right, right, left. Right.
Yeah.
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 Oh man.
And then the next week it changes and everyone's got to start over again. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Keeps it fresh. You don't know where things are, but if you play it a bunch in the week, you'll learn some of the rewards. And there's
Yeah.
some other stuff hidden in there too. We're still working on some of that.
That's amazing.
Okay, so
Thomas,
that
did you play any like video games and stuff growing up? Like, are you big into RPGs or Dungeons and Dragons? Like,
I guess like embarrassingly, the game I play the most is RuneScape. So it's a kind of game from like I don't know 2007, point and click kind of adventure game. So
yeah,
I guess you can say similar in a way. But yeah,
it's
yeah,
awesome.
RuneScape is yes,
Yeah,
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 no, that
this
game
is
is
the big
awesome.
Warhammer fan too. So
yeah, yeah. That's
Warhammer,
Oh, very
nice.
cool.
that's his go-to.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
it just
he's
seems like y'all thought of all the different things that really pull on the heartstrings of us who like those RPGs and who love Dungeons and Dragons, with Dwight being a dungeon master too, and just
yeah.
all of it. It's a really well wrapped package. It's just so
yeah, the team
exciting.
was
Yeah.
very tuned into the theme. I think there's a lot of
Yeah,
fans of it, so you can show that love's in the game.
very cool.
Okay, what else we got? We got the let's go do the dragon. He's the big
You
one.
want to do the dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one I'm very most curious about for sure. How
yeah.
he works and
This is, I guess, where it says in the playfield. There's also the way you get the balls into the dragon. They kind of come from behind them. So there's a diverter here underneath the left ramp here, and that open and closes off of this coil here. So it gets pretty tight in this area. So this coil
Oh,
fires, and that's how you drive open the diverter, and then we get the subway system. It just pulls the ball under the playfield, and here we have like it's a three ball lock, but we have a fourth opto and a reject opto, so we know if there's ever a stack up. And this is probably one of the first challenges that we tried to like overcome was how do we have something stationary and then get balls out through the middle of it, right? So originally we actually had like a so the Mech is on stepper motors now. Let me open it up. So the Mech is now on stepper motors, but originally we had two DC motors, and it was
whoa.
uh, like we had like a seamless tube that almost like the ball came up. Then we moved to the stepper motors. Did I say stepper motor before? And then you can see here there's sort of the I don't know if it's easier to see on the screen or I'm bringing it over. It's all tangled up. Yeah, so you have the trough, and then they take the balls out that way. You can see the optos, but then it mates with the Dragon Mech here. So we designed a bearing assembly here. It's like a three-part bearing assembly. I'll filter the middle of it. You can see.
Whoa.
So uh,
It's such a beast of a mech, no pun
yeah,
intended.
it
Gosh.
is.
so we have a three-part injection molded bearing assembly here. That kind of clamps everything together, and then the the, the where the tube, I don't know what to call it, the scoop goes through and attaches onto the bearing this way, and then we drive the drag and rotation off this motor here, and then the head is driven under
Yeah, you can see that arm
Right,
coming
yeah,
down
because he goes left to right, but he's also going up and down.
and down.
But
Yeah,
and that arm that you see right there is what's pulling him up and down.
yeah. So we have like one of the reasons we actually moved to stepper motors was because when we were first firing the balls at the dragon, we were using timing to like work out when to fire the balls, and they were often going down the outlanes or whatever, which isn't a whole lot of fun. So using the stepper motors, we can like Dwight can like use like to program the steps, and they can shoot the balls exactly where they want to shoot the balls. And we have like a kind of homing sequence and stuff using there's like a dual set of optos at the back here, then one here for the up down. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
how that works.
what Thomas was alluding to is that, and we haven't really fully taken advantage of this in the game yet. we're planning on having different levels of dragon battles where he will do different actions on each of the battles to keep it interesting as you keep playing through it. But the fact that we have the stepper motors means he can aim pretty precisely at what he wants to hit. If he
Whoa.
wants to like shoot down the center a lot and you have to use your shield more, or like Thomas was saying, he can shoot toward the out lane, so maybe you get a bounce out there. Remember, he's trying to drain all the balls on you, right? And you're
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
protect him and hit him. So he's going to get more interesting as we have more time to work on the software too.
So in the
Yeah.
premium, he captures the ball and he spits them out at you, right?
Yeah, so in the premium game, we actually have it's an 8-ball game, and then there's 3 balls that live inside the dragon at all time, and then the game kind of juggles whether the balls are coming out the dragon's mouth or out the trough. So you'll probably hear the dragon feed itself, and that's like it's going around.
And we can feed the dragon either from the shooter, where you probably see as you play, it keeps continuously filling it during multi-ball as soon as balls drain. Or when you make a shot on that right orbit, it'll also feed it in too if the diverter's open.
Kind of like Indiana Jones, where it kind of shoots it up the shooter lane and then diverts it into the chest or whatever.
Right.
The
Yeah.
same kind of idea.
Yep.
Turtles as well has like in the van mini ball. It keeps
Oh, right.
a couple of balls in there. Yeah.
Nice. And then you
And then
you bash Raph's head, right? So he has a switch that senses when
Yeah.
the ball's hitting it.
Yeah, we should talk about that. That's kind of unique.
this is probably like the most. This is a lot of iterations to get this to feel good, I guess. To get the I don't know the detection good.
Oh yeah,
So
his tongue
Yep.
this is a
or his
decal,
jaw.
yeah. Jaw.
It's really simple in the end, but it was quite the task of getting there.
Yeah. So we have the way it actually works is there's 3 cones, I guess, like 3 screws like this, and it clamps everything together. The spring's made to be up here. I don't know why it's moved, but so basically when you bash this piece of sheet metal, the springs drive up on the plastic, and that closes the switch here.
Whoa.
So
Whoa.
Can you
Okay.
show a
So-
top down too? Yeah, it's just so they can see.
So it's just a leaf switch then. That it's
yeah,
hitting.
yep.
That's all that's actually in there in the end. That's just the
So-
shape.
Just classic pinball right there.
Yep.
Yeah, there's
The good old leaf switch from 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had like a bunch of different iterations to try and get this to work right. And this one worked great in the end. It was like a super tight package that because the jaw's not that deep, so we're trying to get that sensing from left and right and in front as well. So yeah, it actually worked out great in the end.
So it's normally open. The jaw gets pushed in. It pushes the spring up that then closes the leaf switch, and then that's how it registers the points.
Yeah, and it's like super sensitive. Like the movement of the leaf switch is so small, so like it's great for working.
Do you ever see the need to have to adjust that leaf switch over time?
We actually adjust it on the line. So before it goes into the game, like the testers adjust them, and I've not seen any need to like readjust them. There's like the tops of these screws act as like a hard stop, so we never really overstretch the spring on the leaf switch. But I'm not sure if people have pinball machines forever, so I'm guessing eventually everything needs serviced. So
Yeah, it should.
We had to adjust ours a little bit. It was a little too
Yeah.
close, so we were getting phantom hits, and it
Yeah.
wasn't
yeah, okay.
it wasn't hard. I was able to get a adjuster switch in the side and just kind of give it a little bend, and it wasn't too
Oh,
difficult.
nice.
It was accessible
Oh,
from.
so you
yeah, I
can
didn't
just
have to
stick
take.
your tool in and just make the
I
adjustment.
didn't have to take anything apart. I could just get my tool in there and just little twist, and it was done.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's the same as a sling or a jet that
Right.
pop up
Yeah.
adjust.
Right.
So yeah, if it's not sensitive enough either, if you don't feel like you're
Right. You got to bend it down a little bit. But
Okay.
Yep, bend it down a little bit.
we were wondering why we were defeating the dragon so easily, and I was like, "What's going on here?" I was like, "Something's not right," and so we just put it in a switch test, and I kind of banged the playfield a little bit. Like, it was like the jaw was registering, and I was like, "That's not right. Hold on a second."
You just thought you guys were that skilled.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, wow, we're good at this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like one of the trying to get the spring just right and the
Mm.
mechanism so people wouldn't just shake the pinball machine to get hit.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
It's a
shaking it to
balance.
get to beat him.
Yeah,
Like, no,
That's
it doesn't work that way.
cheating. Oh,
I think the other things that's difficult with a mech this complicated too is that we have to make it so that it can be manufactured easily and that they can put it on the line easily as it's going down. If you've seen the pictures of them, where they flip the playfields up right side and on the bottom and stuff. And we had to come up with ways to make that easy too. And I think one of those things that Thomas discovered is putting those stand-up targets in with the whole mechanism so they can just drop the whole thing on as one. Um,
yeah,
helped to make it easier too.
yeah, you
So
yeah.
as
So
couldn't
far,
the
settle with just a dragon. You had to put targets
yeah.
in front of it too.
Right, right.
you got
So as
Steel's
far
goal.
as like, if you did say you did need to take that dragon head off of it, like, what's the process of? Is it?
Yeah, so
'Cause I was
we have
looking
it.
for screws just to like see, and I couldn't find it. Everything looks like hidden. I was just
If you take
curious as
the
to.
if you take the I guess the cave off and then the dragon sculpt comes off with these two screws at the back.
Oh wow.
The dra the
Oh, the
dragon head's
cave's
basically
covering it. Right.
Yeah, it just clips in the front and fold them over to the back. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
over here.
yeah.
That's his neck butt.
that's so clean. So it just
So
clips
yeah,
on the front and then folds down and then two screws in
Yep,
the back. Nice.
yep,
yeah.
yeah.
So that will come off, and then once you have the head off, you can it's these rings here, like one, two, they just
Either
slip
side.
off,
Yeah.
and then you actually like this whole portion of the mech will I guess called the lower playfield assembly. I guess this is what bolts onto the in the game or on the line, uh, and then in my exploded view, there's one, two, one, two, three, four, and then four of the so eight, number eight, half-inch like wood screws, and then we also have like a fin shank to help locate it in the game. So when to make sure the targets are roughly pointing in the right direction, we have a there's like a big hole in the, like there's basically a big hole in the playfield, a big pocket for the playfield here, and we pick up this the fin shank on the playfield to try and make sure it's pointing in the right direction.
Wow.
Yeah, this thing it feels up pretty easy actually.
Yeah, the
It,
head comes off easy, like you were saying. It's just those two E clips on one side and the axles come out and the whole
The whole
top.
thing just drops.
Yep.
Wow.
And then the
That's
rest all drops from the bottom, what you're seeing here. Like you said, the wood screws on the bottom, the whole thing drops out. So considering how complex it is, it's pretty easy to get into and service it. It's not very many
yeah.
things to take off.
That's amazing.
That's great.
then there's
That's, yeah.
also like I call them P clips. I think Americans call them cable claps here and here.
G-clips?
So before you take the head off, you'd have to remove the cabling from the the jaw switch underneath, and then on the head there's the LEDs for the mouth and the eyes. They feed down here.
Mm.
They feed down here through here, and then the one from underneath the jaw feeds through here. Yeah.
Nice to kind of just keep it
And
snug
be
in place.
mindful of those cables too. Like if you have a dragon that doesn't want to go all the way up or something, sometimes the cable is getting caught up or is stretched too tight. So that's something to look for if you see that.
Leave a little bit of slack for them.
Yep. Leave a little
Yeah.
slack for them.
He moves a fair amount, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a good range for sure
It's
across the
amazing.
playfield.
I can't think of any mech in pinball that is this big and
Multifunctional.
complicated. I don't want to say
Yeah,
complicated, but yeah, a lot of going on.
yeah.
Right? Do you think it is like a new record for insanely large and complex mech on a playfield?
It certainly ranks up there, I think, especially from all the functionality that we get from them too.
yeah.
Yeah, going from the T-Rex and Jurassic Park, which kind of had that same, on the premium, he moved around a lot.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
But this is like
he's
3
not,
times
he's not,
bigger.
yeah, exactly. He's definitely not this size. Like this dragon's gonna eat T-Rex for sure.
And there is some interesting history to this device too. So he's coming out of a cave here that you see. This is like the end product of what he ended up doing, but he didn't start originally coming out of a cave, which is kind of interesting. I think people will see. We can show you a little of that in a second here. Um, and dragons live in caves, so it's kind of natural. It's a pinball thing, right? He's in a cave and he's coming out of it, attacking you and such. But originally, the dragon was a full-bodied dragon with wings that wrapped around the playfield.
Whoa.
And the cave wasn't there. It had a few issues. One, the complexity.
Oh, yeah. Wait, can you
Yeah, here,
Thomas, can you stop sharing your screen for a moment and then
just
we'll make your
yeah.
screen larger so we can see this ginormous dragon body.
This is
Wow.
a pretty early prototype.
This is an early one.
It's like
And
the size of a Pomeranian.
yeah, it's actually probably 20 or 30% bigger than we probably would have wanted, but it's the one that we printed and made. And it does sit and fit on the playfield. And Thomas spent a lot of time, along with like Chuck Ernst and a few other people at the company, to make this thing fit. But in the end,
Look at those wings.
yeah, look at you see him pull it apart, how it drops on, and it was really slick. Like you wouldn't have seen it in fasteners hardly, and his feet would have been on top of plastics and stuff that we had. So he was actually a pretty clever integration, but there was a few problems with it. One, ball hangups obviously are a nightmare. Two, it's a big ass mold. I mean, it's huge. A lot of pieces. It's really expensive to do it too, to do something that big onto the playfield. And we would have had to pull more off the playfield. So like we had the shield pulled off and the dungeon was in question. And we're like, it's not worth all of that. Even though it's like that's the original vision. It's really cool to see this giant dragging on it on the playfield. In order of taking it off and doing the cave, we're able to put the shield back and make sure we had a dungeon so that there's multiple things to do around the playfield. I think it was the right choice in the end, but from a direction standpoint and design sense, he looked really cool. I think it would have been really cool to see this giant dragon like climbing over the ramp, right, attacking you.
Yeah.
You said at
If you want an
TPF you want to
accessory-
do you said TPF you said you wanted to do the director's cut of the
Right,
pinball
right,
machine.
right. Maybe we could do an accessory or something. Send a message to George Gomez, George.Gomez.
Yes.
Tell him you want a dragon on your playfield.
We want it. We're going to make that petitions.com form and get everyone to sign it. Be like,
I think Thomas will have some nightmares trying to make that work, but
I think we need to get a bubble glass or something to try to get it under the playfield.
Bubble glass. Oh,
yeah,
that would be new.
Yeah. But it definitely was fierce looking for sure. But in the end, I think with the trade-offs, what we ended up with worked pretty well for players. A lot to do on the playfield.
Yeah, I mean, the body's still there. It's just inside the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hiding under the petitions.
But Thomas, I will say, man, he spent a lot of time getting that dragon body to work because it's a huge model and trying to make it fit and functionality, just mount correctly with everything in the way and the ramps and everything. It was pretty masterful up to the point that we got.
Yeah, I can't believe that actually fit in the playfield.
I know. I'm looking at it like, how did you even get it in there, man?
I think the artist had enough of me by the end of it because I was like, "Can you move the tail? Can you?"
Right. He's like, "No, I can't move the tail again."
Okay, we'll move everything else.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But that's part of the development process, right? Some of the initial ideas you have when you start isn't always where you end, but the game always wins, right? The fun always wins. That's what we want, is to make sure that there's lots to do in the playfield and that people enjoy the mech that's there. So if we have to change something, we change it.
Very cool.
The interesting about that too, on a side note, is like cave. This was late in the development process, right? As you can see, we had a full dragon almost ready to go. we're talking with George and back, and he wasn't crazy that you couldn't see some of the shots either and stuff. So when we decided on the cave, we didn't have a lot of time to get the cave made. So George actually came in one weekend, given his toy making history, right, and
Yeah.
made a cave out of wood for us that kind of fit in the shape. We had that, scanned on the outside and then moved it around to make it fit and mount on everything that we had. So yeah, so he's a part of it too. George has his hands in all sorts of
Yeah.
pieces of games all the time, and he has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We
And
took
so
advantage of it.
he made the cave for y'all, the home of the
Yeah, I think
cave.
I think I still
Yep.
have I have the original scan cave under my desk still. So there's one
Oh,
maybe
can we
expo
see
this
it,
year
or
we
is
can.
that too private?
It's my desk. My
Oh,
desk
you
is. I
said
don't
too
have it.
far.
Maybe expo. I'll wait for expo. You'll see the
Right,
tank
right,
Oh,
full
right.
yeah,
numbers.
okay. So everyone come to Expo for a D&D seminar and you can see even more of the behind the scenes. That's super amazing. So I think we covered all the big
The big.
mechs. Is there any other things in the playfield, especially like in the back with ball locks and loops that y'all wanted that we could take a look at?
Yeah,
Because
there's a
there's
couple.
definitely more going on in this game besides
Yeah,
just
there's
I'm
a
gonna share
couple
my
of
screen.
things. Yeah, share your screen and let's show that
So
upper loop that gave us a lot of problem during
this one
development.
here.
yeah, look at all
This
that.
one.
It's all like pew, pew, pew. I'm like, where is the ball going and where is it coming from? That was like one of the things playing and that like made my heart beat so fast. It's like
Yeah, a lot of different pathways, which is kind of
pathways.
what I wanted to make it feel like an adventure and you're taking all these
It
paths. But
does.
there was a problem, one shot that was kind of troublesome from the upper flipper, the loop that goes back around to the upper flipper. We had a lot of
This one
problems
here.
with Curry, yeah, about that shot because we also wanted the ball from the shooter to feed into the dragon reliably so that it would always be able to make it up there. And, whether it bobbled or whatever, it only had to make it like 6 inches and it would roll down into the diverter into the trough for the dragon. So one of the problems that we're trying to solve is, well, how do we make that upper flipper shot smooth while still allowing balls to always go around and go down? And it was originally just straight on the wood, that shot, that loop shot. There was no ramp there, and it was looping around. But we had some worries and issues, like I said, of the ball being able to feed into the dragon, even a slow shot or a rattly one from the shooter or something. So Thomas came up with this great idea, actually, and it kind of harkens a little bit back to even Medieval Madness. If you remember on the ramps, there's a little layer on there that if you go up halfway and it rolls back, it guides the ball to one side so it doesn't go straight down the middle. And to me, this is a similar solution where it's a little half ramp kind of that allows balls in the back of it to still roll into the diverter, but then allows ones coming around that loop to bounce off, and smooth
Oh,
into the upper flipper. So there's a little ramp there to help facilitate both of those things happening. And that
that's
that
super.
was all Thomas. It may have worked the other way that we had it, but this is way more reliable. And as long as the ball makes it to the very top of that exit, it will roll down into the diverter all the time.
Yeah, I think it was on like late in development. We built like 6 development playfields, and like 5 of them were great. And then one of our programmers was like, "My dragon can't feed the ball," and we were like, "What do you mean?" So it was like we built 5 great games, and one of them was a bit like scary. So yeah, we kind of pivoted to fix that one. The
That's
other really
awesome.
cool thing, I like the other like a cool bit of choreography in the game is the left scoop here.
Mm.
You kind of shoot into like Bismo's shop, and then the ball like spits out under the cube. But originally, it didn't always go across the playfield, and you didn't get that really cool show. It actually, originally, you went in here, and it kind of like fired up and around. So the ball
Oh,
would come around, and you wouldn't see the ball get grabbed by the magnet. So I think Brian went back to the drawing books and said, "Let's get the ball to go across the playfield," and you get a really cool display of like the cube like really grabbing onto the ball. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yep. And there's actually a test. If yours isn't quite hitting, you can go into diagnostics and there's a specific test for that left eject for you to set the power of it so
Oh,
that it
cool.
will hit the magnet at the right time.
That's awesome. Do we need to do any like adjustment, physical adjustment to the mech to aim it, or just power?
It's just
Nope.
power.
Yep, just
Nice.
power. Yeah. So it's an easy adjustment. You can do it right in the test, try different values and see which one works best. And they set this on the line, but sometimes in shipping and who knows, right? When they get to you,
Yeah.
Right.
you may want
Yeah.
to adjust it. Over
Right.
time, things get a little more worn out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the only I think coil mech on the game is the up post that's at the exit of the cave.
Cave.
Yeah, where we hold the ball a lot to do starts to the story modes and celebrations and such. And that's just our standard up post that we've used on a lot of games. So most of
Yeah,
the
this
mechs
is
are pretty straightforward.
yeah.
The
That's
dragon's obviously the big one, and the dungeon is completely new too, but it's an up-down action, so it's pretty straightforward.
it's such a
Very
jam-packed game.
smartly designed though, to hold that ball the way it did, and just to use one coil that's saving a lot of money and heartache.
Yep, a lot of money and heartache and reliability. It's only one part instead of two
Yeah.
to usually break, and so we look at those things too.
Wow.
And especially, when I did pinball in the 90s, it was a really big deal to make sure that these mechs could run half a million cycles because
Mhm.
games were out on location making money, and that's how they survived. There weren't that many going in the homes at that time. So we always try to think of that, let's make sure, let's test these things. And all these devices were tested in our bump and hit room or whatever we call it now in the
Bump and
back.
hit
Quick
Just
luck.
run, yeah, they just run continuously doing their thing and then we run them till we break them and we look at, well, what broke, and then we fix it and we run it till it breaks, right? And we do a lot of iterations of that. We did a lot of that on the Dragon,
Yeah, I
obviously.
think we have a test fixture where the jaw is just getting constantly smacked with 3 balls from where the flipper locations are, and it's up at like it's over 1 million hits now, and it's still counting them. So
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
that's rad.
Dang. At what point do you stop the testing? Like, how
Eh,
long will that ball be hitting the dragon in the mouth before you're like, all right, this is good? Is 1 million
I
like the
think it.
cutoff point? It's a big number, but is it still going on
We
right now, like behind you
yeah
somewhere,
yeah
Tyler?
it's
Yeah.
still it's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
it's still getting clattered away. Normally we keep them going until like they break or we need the space. So when the next like game development cycle comes along, we need the cabinet back.
Sure.
Because if nobody needs a cabinet, we may as well just leave it to see if we can make improvements or just try and predict what's going to happen in the field.
Yeah. And a note on that too,
Poor
right?
Ralph.
A lot of people probably are aware that we had some issues with the cables going to the Dragon when we first launched. And that's one of the reasons, or how we found that they could break, relatively soon. Some of it we found right away on the line. And as we started to see a trend, we're like, something's not quite right here. So we kind of stopped. We don't want to send out bad product that we know that there's this flaw. So we ended up getting, I think it was 8 dragons all going at once and trying the different solutions, and they all ended up running for like 2 months, I think,
Yeah, we
all
still
constantly moving all day, all night.
yeah they're still going. So
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
we truly appreciate y'all's dedication to the craft. The overall, there's like nothing overlooked, and we can tell so much passion is put into y'all's games, and that's especially why we love doing streams like this, because it's just like
Mm.
just to see the kind of skeletons of how you guys are making these magical boxes work is just we feel super special, and really appreciate y'all's time um, to let us see kind of behind the veil. So thank you.
yeah, absolutely. It's
yeah,
definitely a fun iterative process that goes through this, and it can be quite frustrating at times. And Thomas has sworn a few times, maybe.
oh no, never.
Thomas, you can stop screen sharing and we'll kind of wrap up, because I know y'all have to go and get back to the grind. But now that you've finished your first game, Thomas, are you totally hooked? Are you ready to start the next one?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
already into the next game, so
You're already writing
we're
notes and ideas of like how to take pinball to the next level. Because after doing this with Brian, like, how do you top that, man?
yeah, we get 3 motors into a mech. I don't know.
Well, you said bubble glass. Bubble
Bubble
glass.
glass.
Yeah. Oh my
You just
gosh.
ask George for that one.
George is
Yeah.
like, oh my God, stop.
2 dragons, 2 now. Do 2
Yeah.
dragons, 2-headed
Yeah.
dragon.
Laser eyes.
Right,
Yeah,
laser
laser
eyes.
eye.
You still got the laser eyes coming.
Dream team. And then, so how does that work when you guys pick your teams? Like, Brian, do you like get the roster and it's kind of like choosing your baseball team? Like, oh, I want Thomas, I want Dwight, I want this person to kind of create your core team for your projects? Like, how does that work?
I don't know. After the hell of going through that dragon, I never want to see Thomas again. But no, no, it's a mixture of all sorts of things at Stern. A lot of it just has to do
Timing,
with
I'm sure.
timing and yeah, and who's available and the resources that we have. Because a large group of people in PD are a shared resource, and they move on project to project depending on where the needs are. And sometimes it lines up that you work with the same person. Like me and Dwight have done 3 games together.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
why I was wondering. I was like, is it like
yeah.
if we're gonna see it the next Brian Eddy game, are we to just immediately expect that it's gonna be a Dwight Sullivan software?
Yeah, not necessarily, but George also tries to keep teams together that are working well, and depending on the theme too. Like there could be a theme that, hey, I'm just not interested in, I don't want to do that, but Dwight really wants to do it, or Thomas really wants to do it, and maybe it makes sense because George really does try to place the people who are most passionate about a theme when he can. It doesn't always work out timing, right? He might be on a different game, and the license comes available or something, but he tries to do that, and because obviously, if the more passionate you are about the theme, the more you probably are going to put into it. And
Hmm.
so
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
different, a little bit different every time. Like Keith has had the same team pretty much since he started at Stern. So in between,
Right.
sometimes people will work on other projects, while designs are happening and such, but they'll come back to work on his game. So yeah, everyone's a little bit different.
Very cool. And it seems like just there's organic cross collaboration between teams and just individuals too that y'all kind of help each other get to the finish line, which is super cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. On this game, I think almost all the mechanical guys had a little bit of something that they helped
Yeah.
out on the game. Thomas can probably talk a little to that.
Yeah, I guess the mechanical we still have like normal engineering reviews and stuff, so the mechanical team gets together. I think Dwight calls us
Oh,
cackling
cool.
geese because we all like get together and moan about the game designers together, I guess. But yeah, we try
You
and
want
make
to
the
do
thing
what?
well.
He's so silly.
Just tell them no.
Yeah.
It's like,
So yeah, we always collaborate, and like there's a lot of like wealth of knowledge here. So like I've only been here like less than a year, but there's people who've been here for Emmys for like 20 years. They've kind of seen it all. So
See,
well,
Thomas didn't know any better, so I told him, no, we need a dragon to move right, left, up, down, shoot pinball. He said, oh, okay. He didn't know. He didn't know to say no, so that's why you got a
you're like,
dragon.
ah, fresh blood, let's go.
And luckily
yeah,
he
like
rose to the occasion. So yeah.
it was my first day, and he was like, "Make it cover this shot, and then make it cover this shot." I'm like,
Right.
"Okay."
Were you just like, all
And he
right,
did
I'm
it.
gonna figure it out, or was there
Yeah, he
any
did
point of hesitation where like, did I choose the right career?
it.
No, I think it took a couple of shots to get it right, but everything's possible if you try enough times. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you definitely stuck with it and made it happen because
yeah,
it was a big task.
I love that. Awesome. So I guess the next big public showing of Dungeons and Dragons is this weekend at Midwest Gaming Classic, and there'll be several, at least 10 Dungeons and Dragons there on free play for everyone to play. When we did Texas Pinball Festival, it was super rad because we all had an opportunity to achieve the glass sword of unmaking. Is
Yeah.
there going to be anything like that this weekend or any?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. There will be the glass sword will be back. There was a couple
Yes, I'm
bugs in
so
the glass
glad because
sword,
I
but
missed
yeah.
getting it and I was so
Oh,
sad.
there you go. Yeah. Now
And
you have another
anyone
chance.
can get it, right? You don't have
Anyone
to be at
don't
Midwest
have to be at the
Classic.
show. Yeah, so grab them while you can. Grab a
Goodness.
bunch Sunday night because then they'll last longer. Yeah, you can get up to 20, so 10 times. Each time you go to Tiny's the tavern, right? The Tavern Brawl. So every time you start Tavern Brawl, which is pretty simple, it's like you got to play the dragon, you got to play Gelatinous multi-ball, and you have to go in the dungeon. If you do those three things, it will light the brawl, and then start the brawl, and then you'll get the swords. And so anybody who has D&D anywhere in the world that's connected, this will happen. So that's pretty cool. And we'll be doing a making of talk again. So if anybody's there and they want to stop by, see it's 5 o'clock on Saturday. Stop by and you can see even more details about the development process.
Very, very
I
cool.
think Amoda's seen some of that in Texas, so she
Yeah,
was.
I definitely recommend if you go to MGC this weekend, sit in on that seminar because it was definitely one of the most engaging seminars at TPF too.
Mhm.
Lots of jaws were dropped just watching you and Dwight up there. And then
And,
is Thomas gonna
and
join you on the stage? Have you done
I,
any seminars
absolutely.
yet, Thomas? Get ready for the rock star life, y'all.
Not done any seminars yet. I'm not going this weekend, I'm afraid. But I think Expo will be the big one
Excellent.
for us.
That's a big
Awesome.
one.
Very cool. Well, we're looking forward to it. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us and have a great weekend at MGC and Thomas, maybe relaxing, maybe getting to finally sleep now that the game's out in the wild.
He's already on the next project. He doesn't have time to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Already
yeah,
moving
this
on to the
is so
next one. Awesome. Well, we're
don't
super
worry.
excited for that too, especially after seeing how D&D is slaying. It's just super exciting to see what you guys come up with next.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for having us again,
it's
Amoda.
very
We'll
fine.
have
Thanks,
to
y'all. See you
Yeah.
next
see
time.
you.
you guys.
Bye.
Yep. And then you guys can just jump off the Zoom. We're going to go to our holding screen. And for everyone on the stream, stick around. We're going to do some gameplay, look at some details of the actual game. And we're going to get set up for that. So thank you. All right. They have left. Let's come on back. That was absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh. That dragon mech is just so beautiful. Okay, let's see how we're gonna do this. We're just gonna do this together, y'all. This is the unveiling of live stream movie magic. We are live at Lynn's Arcade in Seaside, California. They have 40 games on free play and like 100 different beer drinks you can enjoy while playing on pinball. Tonight is their strikes night, so we're gonna have fun slaying the dragon now that we have the game
Yeah,
set up.
I'm pretty sure people will be choosing this game for
I
strikes for
know,
sure.
I know what game I'm choosing. This and Family Guy that just came back. Alright.
Maybe a little 8 Ball Deluxe that just got put back in. What else did we put in?
Oh yeah, 8 Ball.
Stranger Things got put back in. Kiss got
I
moved
love that
in.
game. You have the premium too, which is super rad.
Mhm.
I wish I had gotten the premium. The projector screen thing is just so cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
I have the Pro, but I did get the UV lights installed, which is also like one of the most amazing things ever. Um, I would love to see that done again. That Easter egg that like when they came out with Stranger Things and no one knew that the upside down was like embedded in the playfield, and then as soon
Oh
as those
man.
black lights hit, you just saw it like come to life. I just remember that feeling of being like, oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah.
Brian Eddy, man, he's just amazing. Okay.
He does cool things.
Yeah.
He does very cool things.
Uh, uh, I'm going to set up my phone so it can get some high quality details in there. We wanted to just kind of look at all those mechs that we just saw earlier on in the episode, and then now see them on the playfield and kind of go over what Brian and Thomas were showing us. But give me a moment, please. How's everyone doing in the chat? You should do a hard body or future spot deep dive. Yeah,
Oh my
you
gosh,
know,
yeah.
that would be great. Maybe one of my dreams is to get Greg Freris to come on and talk about doing hard body art, but he's still in denial that he worked on that game. um, Thanks y'all for hanging out. If everyone's still here, we can go ahead and drop our giveaway code. And at the end of the stream, you'll get a chance to win some cool Marco swag. Let me drop that in for y'all. And also, we did launch our spring campaign, so we do have a free shipping code for orders over $99 or $10 off international shipping. It's good until Monday. If you need to freshen up your balls, check out our 70 ball pack. It's the best deal in pinball right now. Actually, it's really awesome.
It's super awesome.
I
I
need
bought
to
two.
put in an order too. You bought 2 of them? Oh yeah, I see them
Yeah, I
sitting
bought
right
2.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
Great for
Always,
operators for sure. If you
always clean your balls.
got 10 games at home, you definitely want to get the 70 pack.
Yep, and we're working on creating a lot of those kind of bulk packages, and we added a new bulk section to the website that you can see them starting to populate. So I think we have pinballs right now, Stern flipper rebuilds, like the plunger links and coil stops and fasteners for that. And we'll be working on other era of games too. If y'all have any requests for products you'd like to see on our website, especially in like the bulk fashion, if you're an operator, feel free to shoot us an email at marcotv@marcopinball.com. We are always open for feedback and suggestions, and we want it all. You know, we have a really big catalog, and we're just passionate pinball people trying to keep pinball alive and out of the landfills, but it's not an easy task. So we appreciate anytime y'all bring stuff like that to our attention. And if you are an operator or opening up an arcade, then get on our commercial account because it's completely free to sign up. You get automatic discounts on everything that you buy. Sans for like Stern accessories or really high value boards. But beyond that too, you get access to call in and email like really big bulk orders, and we can help you even more because the locations to us are just so very important because we're out here. We're like the pinball. What do you call us? I don't want to say preachers. We're the street team. We're in the
We're
field.
the
We're
yeah.
promoting pinball to get everyone to fall in love with it for the first time or fall in love with it again. Put the mic near a speaker playing the live feed. Oh, Christopher. I don't know what that means. Let me continue setting this up.
You are not worth my
Pinball
time.
servants. We are the servants of pinball. Yeah, is that? I don't know. We'll have to workshop.
Yeah, we got to figure out our
We're
title.
we're not the pinfluencers, but we're pretty close. All right, we're gonna drop this code in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and load our chat box back into the screen over my face. I'm gonna go on my face. Where'd you go? Haha. No. Ta-da! Oh, hold on. I'm gonna go over there in a second. Let's see. Pinvangelises.
That's a good one.
Oh, Christopher. My favorite troll in homebrew. If you put a mic near the speaker, you'll get a high-pitched squeal called feedback. Because I asked for feedback, so now he wants to give me audio feedback.
I see what he's saying.
Everyone's gonna miss you at MGC this weekend, Christopher. I'm gonna miss my personal bodyguard. He likes to keep people from coming up to me. Oh yeah, so what you drinking? This is good stalling time while I set up the stream. Good to see
What am
you,
I
Mr.
drinking?
Baxter.
I just opened a paperback
Paperback.
Fear of a Flat Planet
Ooh.
pale ale. Pretty cool can art too. It's falling off the planet.
Y'all get the coolest can art. Have you ever had that drink, Mr. Baxter? I got lots of things open. There we go. I found the form. Okay, we're almost there, y'all. All right, I just dropped the form in the chat. You should be able to click on that and sign up. I'll drop it in the Facebook one too for anyone that's hanging out on Facebook. YouTube and Twitch, y'all should have gotten that. Oh, you want to come up as a link? Yeah, I love that they call their testing room the bump and hit room.
Yeah, totally. I also like that Dragon's been in there getting balls thrown at his head for.
I feel bad for him.
That's what he's meant to do, you know. I like the design of that though. It's a giant metal plate. It's really smart.
Yeah, I'm excited to get over there, and I'm almost done with this setup. I found all my little tricks of the trade. The Tyrant's Eye. I think that's my favorite back glass too. I just
For sure.
really love that green eye. But all the
I
art
like
is
it.
so amazing.
In the goodie bag, we get a Tyrant's Eye. It's just that guy as a keychain.
Oh,
It's pretty
really?
cool.
The key fob is. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Searching for devices. Let's pair a device. Come on.
Your gelatinous cube at a TPF was so good. You had all these same little thingies stuck in it, skulls and swords and stuff.
Yeah, it was so great. So I brought that. I mean, like, y'all, it was like this big. It might have weighed 10 pounds of blue slime, clear blue slime with, yeah, the swords and bones and stuff. And then you'd reach down and you'd get like one of the new Stern Pinball Challenge coins or some of the cool Stern Army pins. So I was making people dig into the slime and get it out. And if y'all have any experience with slime, the hotter your body temperature is, the less fun experience you're going to have with slime because it's just going to melt all over you. And poor Charlie from Seattle Pinball Museum like went all in. He was like this deep into my cube. That didn't sound right, but when he pulled it out, it was just all the blue slime was just stuck to him, and me and Sydney were trying to save him. I felt terrible, but I was laughing so hard at the same time 'cause it was freaking great. Oh my gosh. So
Yeah, that
anyway,
was good.
I brought that cube that, Brian poked on it and Dwight poked on it. Everyone got their little feel for the gelatinous cube. You just couldn't help it. It's very sensory. So when I did my launch party the following weekend, I busted out the cube and I was like, this is the same cube that Brian and Dwight stuck their hands in that you can now stick your hands in. And the crowd went wild. Because like Brian said, pinball, it's a lifestyle. We're all
Yeah,
in.
straight up.
All right, let me see if this will work. We're gonna bring this guy up here. This is my camo. Oh yeah, look at this. This is my new hacks. If y'all are doing live streams, consider downloading Camo. It's a completely free app. It syncs to OBS like flawlessly. Like, look how good this camera quality is because I'm on my iPhone 16. We're gonna load that, and I feel like I want to put your screen up in here, but smaller so you can kind of see us as reference. These are one of the things I guess I should have done earlier, but check it out. Lynn's Arcade.
You guys a little closer again.
Most amazing lineup. All right, we're gonna take a stroll. I'm gonna mute my mic and go off of Matthew's mic. Check, check, check. Very cool. And oh yeah, right. I got to go in the Camo app and flip to the back lens. Ha ha. Is that not slick or what? Look, ma. The only thing I'm gonna miss is I think he has chat over there. We're just gonna take the long way around over there so we can. There's a medieval madness. I would say too that castle mech was pretty awesome too, and that's pretty huge. The castles will.
You muted your mic.
Oh yeah, I can hear myself in your. Oh, wait, how do I? Oh,
Let me stop. But this mech is really
Yeah,
big too. When I was
yeah.
asking him, what again? The castle. These
That was
guys move back and forth. The drawbridge comes down.
that was my first pinball moment. Like when they talk about pinball moments, is the first time I destroyed a castle as a kid. It was just like, what just happened?
Or like on Attack from Mars. And
Yeah,
there's
the shit. Yeah.
Paragon. They call this the most evil Paragon ever. If looking at the shot, if you know, right?
Yep.
Beautiful kiss. A little bit of everything.
Bunch of cool.
Not projectors.
I like having some rarities around. Carrie likes to get the cool rare stuff. Iron Maiden, this Starjet is pretty neat. Like the first ball locking game, like EM. So if you plunge into either one of these guys, it'll actually lock the ball. And then you can plunge out another one, lock the other one. And if you hit this target or this target, that'll release the balls out. Or if you hit the center target down here, these other two also do it. Hit the center target, it'll release all of them. You get a 3-ball multi-ball in an EM. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. We're swirling.
We're swirling. We're going back to, this is doing our job here.
Cool spot. Okay, Dungeons and Dragons Pinball. Where's your? Okay, we can see the chat. That's all.
We can move this actually.
I am in Seaside, California. Oh, wow.
I got it on the battery. So we can move this over here so we can have our chat. with this.
All right, so let's look at the dragon. Is it really that grainy? Oh, you just have it on.
Auto.
Okay, I thought it was.
No.
Okay. I love this Easter egg that George came in and designed
Yeah.
the cave for them because it's not just like this little concave cover.
No,
but
it's like
look at
textured
all these
and like
choices.
yeah.
Because he is the ultimate toy maker.
And then they said they did it out of wood. So he sat there like whittling this thing. So like
It's good out of wood.
yeah, and then they used the mold or they used it to the wood to make the mold. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like that's crazy. And then yeah, the that jaw mech, so it's like it moves all different ways, so you can hit it from any angle. Like that's just so it all these movements close that switch that's inside.
Because of the springs inside.
Yeah.
I was
This one
really
is
wondering.
not as easy to get. The Pro is really easy to get to, because the switch is kind of up underneath.
If you go on and switch just like his head can come up a little bit.
You could probably move him to the side and up, and you might be able to get at it from the side. There's like the positioning on the Pro is like straight down. So being able to like get at it was just coming from the side over here. Can't really see, but yeah, the switch is kind of just right up back here. So the premium, yeah, you probably have to like swing them to the side, swing them up, and then you probably get right to it. Yeah.
And then you can access that base.
Yeah. But then also knowing that if you take this off, which looks like there's a screw here, and then there's another one hiding
This, no?
back here, I believe. There's one in there. Oh, that's floating. So yeah, you've taken him off, and then there's just the two screws behind him, and that gets the whole head to come off, and then you could get a better vantage of that that switch.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool that they put those leveling
like they did in Wick too.
Yeah.
The same kind of idea.
Right, for the car and also in Jaws. And I guess the first place where we learned about it was in 007, the James Bond's jetpack. When we had George on the show, you would level the kind of like his height in the back too.
Wow.
So you would pull the playfield out, and then you can easily get to those leveling screws to
get him
really
to be
make it
the
so,
right
yeah, he
height.
can move.
Very cool.
So these are the screws that you would just kind of adjust to make sure that it's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Is there a light on it too?
Yeah, there's a light inside. Yeah, I got this guy seems a little bit high on this backside, but the front's really smooth.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the screws here.
Yeah, so you got the metal.
I was pointing here.
Well, those two. So you
okay,
do all of these. Yeah.
So you can just get it like nice and flush
Yeah.
for your game. It's the QB. It's cute.
I like how they wrap the magnet in black down here too, so you don't. It just goes away. Like you don't even see it. Like
Yeah, look at that. I mean, yeah, totally. I didn't realize it was a magnet. I don't know why, because you can kind of see the ball like jiggle in place, like as
it's
the
just
magnets are
smart to
connected,
have
but
it.
It's just so smoothly done.
Have it stop the ball underneath, and then also stop the ball on the cube at the top. Like that's just brilliant. Use it both ways.
We didn't talk about this in the show, but tell me, like this spinner rip, when you hit that, it's so satisfying.
So it's
It goes forever and ever. And
it's
ever.
a opto
It's
spinner.
an opto spinner.
Yeah, that's what like
very
the new thing is the opto spinner, because those rips really do. Yeah.
And you're rolling the die.
Yeah, when you get into a Chinese dice game, you get to play that. You get to play it's a spinner rip mode. So when
And then
you
it goes out.
yeah, it goes in the scoop, kicks out the UK up to the top. I like this. So where that ball lands coming out of the upper VUK, they actually have a metal plate.
Oh yeah.
Like
cool.
that's pretty neat.
To make it more durable.
Yeah. Pretty rad.
Yeah, it has this kind of
Bit of armor looking feel to it.
loop. Drops right in there. And then that's where the up goes right before it. The passer, like this, the ball pass is just so amazing. I love how Brian was like, he wanted to feel like an adventure, you know,
Yeah.
because you are like traveling to all different places. So it was so well done. That's sure. And then that guy, oh yeah, so they said it's a power setting for this to kick a ball out across the playfield, so you get that kind of like visceral reaction to the ball flying into the gelatinous cube. If it's not hitting perfectly out of this little
scoop
guy,
saucer.
Yeah, it's a saucer. It's deep.
It's not quite a scoop, it's a saucer.
So you go into Oh no, it would be testing, not adjust. Oh, maybe it would be auto shooter to dragon, up close power. Ooh. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Well, because you're Lynx Arcade, I thought you would disable
Why would I?
the shield.
No. I mean, maybe. Maybe during, no, that'd be too much.
Don't give us an option to disable the shield.
It's auto shooter. Yeah. Thank you for hitting my trophy jack when you set this up for me.
It's my thing.
Yeah, flip it right, flip it left, flip your slingshot. It's in there somewhere.
It might be in like the actual.
This is always my fun game when we get a new one to go through and see like how many adjustments there are.
Right.
I think Batman 66 was the highest I've seen with something like 350 different things that you can change.
Oh, I didn't turn off your high score today reset.
Fun little fun fact, music and speech attenuation. So if you want your music to be louder than the speech, you actually take this negative and then speech positive, and that'll make it so the music, so when they talk, it won't be as loud as the music. So the music will kind of overpower the speech more or less. So like on Metallica, I take like music attenuation down to like -10, and then the call out to +10. So it's not so like harsh when they're like, yeah. So it's just some fun tweaking, but it's opposite of what you think it is. So it's like you think like music you want to bring higher and voice is lower, but it's actually you're going the opposite direction.
Well, you should change that. Well, the music's awesome, but you can't turn down.
Doing 5, like 5 and 5 is not as drastic.
Yeah.
But on like say Metallica where it's the call outs are a little overpowering sometimes and you want to hear the music keep going.
Yeah. Ooh, man. A shaker motor in this game?
Yes.
Oh, and the expression lights in this
Yeah.
game? Oh.
Auto shooter to dragon. Oh, that's coming out of the dragon. Outpost power, top BUK, dragon BUK. Dungeon view. Huh. Standard.
I think it's gonna be anyway.
That might need to change.
Oh yeah, talk about the tilt. I don't understand how that.
I go down. So stock is 1,000.
Okay.
I take it down a little bit.
That makes it more sensitive.
Makes it more sensitive. So the smaller the number, the tighter the tilt will be, because it's less hits on the ring. So what debounce does is if you have it, set to 1,000, when you shake the game, the tilt bob is going to be rattling. So it's not every time it hits the ring. The old games, it's like it hits the ring once. It's like, hey, danger.
Yeah.
These guys, it's like it bounces around. And so the less smaller the number, the less hits in the bouncing around it takes to cause a danger.
So to be able to really take advantage of the tilt debounce in the software, like where does the tilt bob need to be installed at?
I mean, I still install it fairly tight. Um,
Is that tight enough? I think that's
yeah, yeah, that's
so a
good. So it's
little
like,
less
and
than
it's like,
halfway
but it's
down.
also like kind of a touchy feel thing where like that's where the debounce comes in. So it's like I put a earplug in it to make it so it doesn't keep moving.
Oh.
It slows it down so I can tighten that tilt up a lot. And then I take the debounce down, because I still want you to be able to get one big move. Like I prefer a game where it's like you get one big move that's a double danger, and then after that you're handcuffed. So figuring out that like where the tilt bob is and where the debounce is, and then you just got to shake your game a bunch to figure that out. In some games, like I've had to do much less. Like I've usually set the debounce about 750. But my Deadpool, I've had set at like 500 because people were like throwing the game around. And so I really had to like tweak it to get it to where you get one good move and then you're done. It's like,
Change the tilt debounce on the Dungeons and Dragons in Paradise? Is that what you adjusted when you adjusted the tilt for it?
no, I just adjusted your tilt bob. Your tilt bob was like hanging out the bottom. And I was like, no. We're not doing that. That's ridiculous. I didn't even touch your debounce. Yeah, totally. Your brother has that high score on it too, and I was like, try to get it now, dude. Like now you can't even breathe on the thing. Let's take that off.
We need that debounce.
When you have someone like Javier playing in your league that can throw the game into next week, you definitely start adjusting debounce. Minimal ball save time. Yeah.
I went through that last night.
Oh, with the red boards? Yeah. That ball's out, right? Yeah, that ball's out. I pulled it out.
Look how beautiful. And we asked Brian about this earlier, and he was like, I just asked for red boards because it would look really cool. It's like, reminds me of like a modding your cars,
Mm-hmm.
Most people aren't going to see the engine, but then when you do lift up that hood, it's like, wow, gorgeous at the exterior and in the interior. These red boards really tie it all together.
They really tied the room together.
So,
looking at that trough, that's the trough that feeds.
this is the dinosaur.
Yeah. So you undo that guy. And then these two screws. And that'll get this guy free.
Right, and that's a separate.
That's a separate deal.
Other part.
And then the other part of the mech, you
Get
got
into the stepper motor.
1, 2, 3. Go over. Yeah, you got like 8. wood screws, and that looks like that whole thing goes down. Oh, crazy.
It's so pretty.
Yeah. It's always fun looking at new things, new ideas in the mech world and what these guys dream up. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
This is that's the spinner scoop.
Yeah, so
This
the
is the
UK.
dungeon mech.
Yeah.
Look how long.
Yeah.
But I love how they just made it that one coil.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just pop it off to service it.
It's like 4 wood screws.
Yeah.
And just pulls it,
Yeah. And then obviously if you go into coil test, you can test all these mechs movement and stuff. That's the shield up there.
Yeah, pretty
Also
simple
just one little coil.
little deal.
Yeah, how rad is that? Yeah, and it just I like this. It's like twinkling lights.
Mm-hmm.
You can see through the light coming.
Oh,
through.
yeah. All the little hole.
I just want to do like a long shot of this. Get a shallower depth of field and just play this, and then just play it in the background.
Pretty neat stuff. Pretty neat stuff. This guy have a Tyrant's eye.
Oh yeah, it comes with a really huge. What is that too? That decal is that?
This one? Oh, yeah. What do we got here? Ooh.
Oh yeah.
This is the guy I was looking for. What'd you get?
Yeah, really cool stuff. Get extra decals for all the post switches and stand-up cards.
Mm-hmm. They got flipper toppers in here?
Whoa, there's flipper toppers. Oh my gosh, dude, install. Look, and that's for the third one.
Yeah.
You have to put this.
Install right now.
How to install a flipper? I didn't know this. I wonder if the pros came with flipper toppers.
Cecilia, check this one out.
Cecilia, nice.
12, 10, 24.
Well done.
Job, Cecilia. Shout out. Okay. Swords.
We're installing solar flipper toppers provided in the oh, I cannot believe it. This is really tight. Look at that. So we just released our red Titan and red Super Bands kit.
Oh, man.
On it. And some product photos for that and the fluorescent guards, the plastic guards that
Oh,
are
my
orange.
gosh.
And they come out like stick out orange here and here, all around the easy brakes. It is so beautiful. The black looks cool too, but as soon as you put those red rings on it, it just, man, can't get it. I'm not how this
That's
one's
next
different,
level.
that's-
Didn't know they did that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you got
their
your.
first mod. I think that's for the spinner, right?
Yeah.
Oh, if you ever do have to put those on, an easy dopamine hit would to put the D20 on this part for the resting position. So you always roll a 20. So you can always cheer. You know what I mean? It's like, am I gonna roll a 20? I don't know. And then you go into actually rolling with Tiny's dice game. But
You get.
it would be cool to see the 20 land on there and you'd be like, yeah. This plastic's interesting. I guess it's to help with ball deflection.
Yep.
That's super cool.
No,
That
no
just
stucky ball.
goes to the testament of they do so many in the factory. Every time I have to go outside of the place.
Oh, when they go out the
Try to
back.
pack so much in it.
Yeah.
Pretty sick. Oh, it is even the bridge. Yeah, it makes me want to play it.
Should play it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they did good.
All right. I'm going to. I walk outside to.
Cool. Where did?
That was our little preview of the game inside.
I think you're still muted.
All right, we are back in action. Pretty exciting game. Super exciting Mechs. They're so honored to have Thomas, who's new to pinball and had been working at Stern Pinball for just a year, to come on our show. It was fun. I remember, it's like we're so old. I remember when Elliot's first time was on our show. He was new to pinball, and when Harrison's first time. And these guys are just so smart, figuring out how to make these games play super fun, and they keep raising the bar.
Yeah, they're constantly creating fun new toys to play with. Hi, B.
Hi, B. Did you get your lighter back? All right, we're gonna see. I'm gonna go over to our.
It's prettier than you, and worth more.
Wow.
His voice is so good.
The shit talk coming out of this dude's
I
mouth.
know. Did he say you smelled bad again?
Mm-mm. He said my treasure's prettier than you and worth more.
Wow. That's
I wanna
nice.
screw that side down.
Yeah. Well, anytime he talks bad to you, just remember that one of his siblings are in the, what is it, the bump room?
Oh yeah,
the
getting
hand bump room, getting his jaw
blasted. Jeez Louise.
All right, y'all. I'm going to drop in this link one more time. If anyone's still on the stream and wants to get in this giveaway, we're going to do one giveaway this time for Marco's swag pack, a tool belt, mug, and some other fun stuff to start you on your tech journey into pinball. And thanks so much, everyone, for hanging out with us today. All right, there's the form. Big money, no whammies. Whammy. And for y'all going to Midwest Gaming Classic and thinking about going, you should just go. And if you get on the leaderboard by Sunday and throughout the day, they do some, throughout the weekend, they do some other giveaways too. You'll have an opportunity to win one of those epic Dungeons and Dragons banners as well, so definitely worth heading to the show and trying to get on that leaderboard, Insider Connected leaderboard. Plus, you can collect your badge, and you got to get that glass sword of unmaking, because that is definitely a game changer.
Oh yeah, one hit kills, man.
It's like a gold gun.
Yeah, the GoldenEye gold gun.
All right, we got a few more in. Nice. Is everybody in? Let's go here real quick. Giveaway wheel.
Just standing up some stuff for tournament.
Is that gonna work? Let's see. Oh, because it's not populated. Getting ready for tournamenting. Oh yeah, because tonight is strikes. Should be super fun.
Yeah, so also just in general for our setup, would take extra balls just down to one, and then turn on coin door ball saver and a couple other little options for in case balls get stuck during tournament play. And I disable coin door disable tilt, so when you open the coin door during tournaments, the tilt's disabled in case you do shake it.
Oh, right.
So then that way you don't accidentally tilt people while you're trying to fish stuff out of a game if a ball gets stuck during tournament play.
Gotcha. All right, here's our wheel. It's a very good chance you could win. I hope you are the winner. Let's see who's going to win the Marco swag pack, which we will ship to you next week.
Let's go.
So many of my favorite people are on this list. That's awesome. Oh, is it Turn or Colin? Oh, Mr. Baxter. I think we're going to add a koozie, maybe a Lynn's Arcade and a Captain Crazy koozie for
Yeah,
your beer
let's
drinking.
do it.
All right. Thank you so much, y'all. We appreciate you playing and hanging out. Congratulations, Colin. I think I have your information, but feel free to send me your updated shipping address to marcotv@marcopinball.com. And we'll get you a nice swag pack. Let me drop it in my to-do lists. It was a great stream. Next week, what are we doing on PinTech Live? Let's think about this. Next.
Sure, we'll figure out something. Something will break that we need to diagnose.
That's pinball for you.
That's pinball, baby.
Baxter.
I do have a Fireball 2 that I need help diagnosing. So maybe we can get Phil on here and diagnose it together.
Oh, yes. Okay, good call. I should hit up Phil and see if we can do something like that. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'd be good. We could do it at the office.
Very cool. We did just get back in stock our pin scores for the 6803 systems, which I'm super
Ooh.
excited about because I've been waiting for those to be created as well too. And I have some 6803s that have a little yuck in the old plasma display, so I'm really excited to upgrade
What
to
did
the
Phil
pin
call
score.
them? The measles? They got measles. The little dots.
Yeah,
Remember?
you're right. We got to get Phil back on our show, man. Yes. Is the between y'all two, you have the funniest like little nicknames for these pieces, like the 2764 diameter post rings. You call them nubbies.
My nubbies? Yeah, my nubbies. The little nubbies. Nubs.
Oh my goodness.
I got a bin full of nubs.
All right, let's see who we can raid. Can we raid? Uh-oh.
Great.
Maybe we can't raid right now. Something's happening with Twitch. All right, well, we're not going to raid, so if you're on Twitch, go watch Mystery Pinball. No, it might be too early for that. I'm sure there's great other pinball content for you to ingest.
Yeah,
Let's see.
that was fun.
I suggest. Ooh, Dalton. All right, everyone go check out Dalton Pinball. He's about to slay on some James Bond. So,
Ooh, nice.
yeah, I can't go wrong with that. Awesome. And
Can't
What's
go.
Brewing is also online too, which is super rad. But all right, until next week, y'all. We will be live next week too. We guarantee it. And yeah, thanks for hanging out and keep playing pinball. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.